Hello YouTube, welcome back to my Let's Plays of YgoPro with InuPete. We've got a few games coming up. We made an actual video, a full video, and the actual volume and vocals were completely gone. They were busted, so we're going to re-record them and do them again.
Basically take two.
Yeah, basically take two of 3 separate videos. So here we go. Basically, I've rebuilt a normal deck. A gentleman on the YouTube built the deck and asked people to play test it, so I've actually built the deck and I've been doing some play testing on YgoPro against Pete's Junks, Zombies, Crystal Beasts. I created a skill drain deck, and basically this is what we've been doing pretty much most of the day. As you can see, the time is like 13:06 there, so it's 1:06 UK time, and it's now 5:44. So yes, we're going to continue on now, and let's get on with it. So in the original video, the first thing we was talking about originally was the Dragon Ball Z movie, the new one. Neither me nor Pete have seen it, but we've done some reading up and we're looking up, and we both was talking in the last video about how much we were looking forward to seeing a new series and things like that. That's been rumoured to be happening. So yeah, again, that was one of the main conversations we had during the first set of videos. I think you quit quite early there, actually. Yeah, you couldn't get over the what's it? Chaos that I had out on the field. So yeah, what do we talk about now? We were talking about some music and things like that. As you can hear on the video, I've got a little bit of music in the background, a bit of Phil Collins. Originally it was CNC. I can go back to CNC music if you want, Pete. Don't bother me.
Up to you, mate.
I've just got like a playlist just running pretty much. So yeah. Well, the deck that I've got, that I've built, is basically the way that the guy ran it was a light and dark variant with level 1 monsters using the enchanted fitting room to mill them from the top of your deck, or to special summon them from the top of your deck, and then you do all your shenanigans from there. The other thing you can do as well is you can use Try White to special summon level 2 or lower normal monsters from your graveyard. Again, allowing you to do a lot of shenanigans from the field and things like that. The build's okay. You can get an obelisk out quite easy, depending whether A, you've got enough monsters to do so, and B, whether you can actually keep the obelisk alive longer than a turn. At one stage, you'll see Pete basically reborn a pre-summoned obelisk, and you'll also see Pete creature swapped an obelisk that I actually had. So yeah, you know, there's been a couple of those sort of duels that's been like that. I had another long upload last night. The video that I put up there was a long one, Pete. It was probably about 5 hours to upload a 15-minute video. Ridiculous. And all I did, I put it down to a low setting Xvid, and it still took an absolute age for it to upload. So yeah, it's taking the mick, it really is. Tonight got D&D. Last thing to happen there was probably, what did we actually do? I think we were in the middle of a dungeon actually. We were disguised and going downstairs into a corridor.
Yes.
Yes, mate.
Got a phone call coming in.
Alright, mate, just take the phone call and I'll continue talking. Just mute your microphone or mute your sounds and I'll continue talking, mate. So yeah, so basically we ended up in a corridor last week, and we got out into the Paladin Sanctuary, and I probably didn't mention this, but we're basically going towards a mountain called Mount Doom and Gloom, following the Crimson Dragon Ragnarok, and basically we ended up going into a dungeon. We got inside, we went in, we triggered a trap that blew up a room, and the corresponding corridor took us that would have taken us directly to Mount Doom and Gloom, but instead we took an alternative route and we ended up going to the Paladin Sanctuary. So today's run through is going to be on the Paladin Sanctuary, which is going to be okay, I guess. So yeah. The other thing we were discussing as well, as I said, was the Dragon Ball Z movie. Again, if anybody that's a Dragon Ball Z fan, me and Pete have been Dragon Ball Z fans for many years. You know, I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z, and hearing this coming out, and especially like when I was reading up on it yesterday, it was like Akira Toriyama came out and said that the film is actually part of the series as well. So it's like the very end of the between the last 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, at the end of the Majin Buu saga, to the beginning of the I think it's the 58th or the 28th Tenchiki Budokai, or Tenichi Budokai, sorry. It's meant to be that 10-year gap between the two, and he's put it right smack bang in the middle. Now again, it said on the website yesterday, I checked it up to make sure that there is no release date for Japanese, for English or American release dates. Now, I'm a big fan of Japanese anime. I prefer the voice actors and actresses of the Japanese series. I find them a lot more emotional. I find them a lot more, you know, you can bind with the characters more. You feel more, how I put it, feel more towards the Japanese characters and the voice actresses and the actors than you do with the American ones. I find the Americans feel very, they feel very forced, if you know what I mean. They don't feel genuine, and I don't really have much connection to them as I do with the Japanese anime and stuff like that. I know Pete, again, he's one of these, it's very similar sort of thinking, but he also likes a little bit of the American stuff as well. Whereas I don't.
I suppose
really
only really for Dragon Ball Z. Anything else I watch in American, I can't stand. I just can't stand the voices. The American Dragon Ball Z, it's weird. It's not bad. I suppose most of the characters in it though are adult. It's like Gohan's like the only kid that's really in it, isn't he? And then you get Goten and Trunks. Whereas all the things you watch nowadays, like Bleach, Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, they're all kids/teenagers. And I don't know, the voices just annoy me. And it's also the way they do the dubbing now. The dubbing of Dragon Ball Z, I suppose, in a sense, was kind of like a new kind of thing to do. Sort of thing, like that, I don't know, that Tenchi Muyo kind of were quite new.
I don't know, because the thing is you've also got the manga. This is completely different, because obviously manga that I read, that I class as manga, is obviously the reading stuff, Japanese comics. But the manga, the actual company manga, were doing things like, what was it, Violence Jack, they were doing
but they were
Fist
good.
and All Star.
No, I'm talking about Funimation. Manga
was the
good.
Funimation stuff,
Manga did good stuff. Yeah, manga did good stuff. They kept all the swearing in, all the blood, all the violence, whatever. They might have actually, some of the things we watched were slightly cut, but they were still good. Because like the era they come out in, what I'm talking about is like Funimation, I mean, obviously, like, there's things are said a lot differently in Dragon Ball Z, Japanese and American. Some things are kept the same, some things are kept different. Like, the thing they fucked up in big time in American was Vegeta, when he talks about Goku's dad. He's like, oh, like, your dad wasn't a great fighter, but he was a brilliant scientist. Never says that in the Japanese version. And then you've got the film, Bardock, Father of Goku. He ain't a scientist. He's a brawler. He's a straight-up fighter. He's one of the weakest, lowest class fighters. But he's a fighter. Yet in the American version, Vegeta's like, your dad was a scientist. It's like, it just contradicts the American version. Yeah. See, it's shit like that I don't like doing, but it's just the voices now. Voices they use in like Dragon Ball Z, pretty good. I mean, I've listened to Inuyasha, and I just couldn't stand some of the voices. Some of the voices didn't go. Like, they had the voice of Piccolo doing Koga. It just doesn't suit Koga. It sounds like he's 30 years old.
Oh, no.
Okay, Koga's supposed to be like a couple hundred years old, he's a young wolf demon, so they live for hundreds of years. But it sounds like he's in like 30, 35, and it just doesn't suit Koga's voice. Koga's very cocky, kind of arrogant. He's basically like Inuyasha. So you've got Inuyasha's got like a teenish kind of age voice. It's not too bad.
Did they use for Inuyasha the same guy that done the lady that done Gohan's voice?
No, Inuyasha is I believe it's Sasuke's voice. Sasuke's done by a guy.
I know Sasuke's done by a guy.
Sasuke's American voice, I believe.
But he would have done Inuyasha before.
Goku's voice.
But wouldn't
doesn't suit him.
But wouldn't have.
I would have thought Piccolo would have seen
Inuyasha came out before Naruto did, so it'd have been the other way around.
Well, I don't. No. Oh, I don't know. I'm just thought. I was also going from Dragon Ball Z style. I'm just saying the characters like.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure who Inuyasha would be then, but I say Moroku's got Goku's voice, and whereas like not. I mean, Piccolo still wouldn't have suited Moroku, but it would have been better to have him as Moroku than as fucking Koga. I get why they've done it. They've tried to make him kind of have that kind of deep, cool voice, but it doesn't work. It just does not work, you know? It's just like, I don't know, it's like, and also it's the way they say things as well. Like, I was watching one episode of Naruto where it's in the, you know, when they've got too many people and they have the fights.
Yeah.
Like Gaara vs Rock Lee. Sasuke's fighting that sound guy when he makes up the lion combo.
Yeah.
And Naruto's like cheering him on or something, and in his mind he's like, oh, shut up, loser. And I'm like, he never says that. It's the way the person says it as well. It's like, even in that tone, that's not Sasuke. You've just ruined the character. They've ruined the characters in Naruto. They really have.
Well, to be honest with you, I watched Naruto up until about the Shippuden era sort of kicked off. Basically, the fight between Neji and Naruto was the last actual anime I watched. So I never watched anything beyond that. I've read right up to now. So, you know, at the end of the day, I much prefer the Naruto manga to the actual anime. I didn't like the anime. Also, if I remember rightly, between the Shippuden and the anime, wasn't there like 2 years worth of fucking fillers? Non-stop fillers. So the end of the it's the end of the Neji Naruto fight, and right up to Shippuden, they done like a 2 years worth of fillers, didn't they, in Japan? Was that right?
For what?
For Naruto.
What do you mean? They did what? Sorry.
Didn't they have fillers between the Shippuden and the
Oh God, yes.
Neji and the Neji
Yes.
Naruto fight. You know, so.
They had hang on, between Naruto and Neji fight, there was hardly any fillers. But when it was the 2 year skip they done, there was just nothing but fillers.
2 year skip is where basically Naruto is. Oh yeah, it's where Naruto then ends up chasing Sasuke, doesn't he? And then
it's when he's come back to the village.
Training again, isn't he?
When
With
Naruto's changed his suit and everything. When he's come back to the village and he's better, him and Sakura fight Kakashi again. Well, like getting the bells. That it's all different. It's like they just jumped it. I think they had a 4-week break or something in the comics, and then bang went into it. But in the anime, because the anime had also once again, it's the only thing where the anime catches up to the manga.
Yeah.
It had done that, and then also where there was a 4-week break or whatever of Naruto, they were just like filler. The only thing I'll say, the Naruto fillers are shit. They're all exactly the same. It would be, they'd go somewhere, they'd lose, then he'd unlock, you know, the demon fox chakra inside him, get the red aura, fight them and win. That was it.
Yeah.
That was always what happened. They'll go in there, fight, lose, come back, fight, win. Repeat process. Bleach, on the other hand, had fillers, but I liked the Bleach fillers. There was one that was a bit shit that was right near the beginning. But their fillers are bad, like, not too bad. Like when they had the Bound arc, or the vampires, as they basically were, the vampires. Or everyone's like, they weren't vampires, they were called Bound, but apparently Bound was vampire in Japanese or some, I don't remember. But they were vampires. And I thought it was a pretty good arc. Sort of thing. It was a filler, but it was good. It was consistent, it was long. Whereas Naruto, for about 3 or 4 months, you'd have an episode, you'd have something that lasted 2 episodes, and then something else that lasted 2 episodes, something else that lasted 2 episodes, and then and like I say, the same thing. Go to a village, fight, lose, fight, win. Go to a village, fight, lose, fight, win. Go to a village, fight, lose, fight, win. What the fuck's up with that shit?
Yeah. Alright guys, well we'll be back talking more anime and stuff in a few moments. We're just going to pause the video here, and we will see you very soon.